And he is a frequent speaker on economic forecasts, economic impact on home building. Go figure, on a real estate and finance show. Consequences of government regulations, cost-benefit analysis, strategic business development.
Hey, Don, you're just defining economist.
Oh, good point. Is that true, Elliott?
Yeah, I'm afraid Gino's right.
I'm usually the one that is right on the show, Elliott.
Hey,
okay.
Well, we have to have one on the
show. I know
show.
Who's in charge now.
Well, Elliott, what's really cool is that you've taken these things, and as I was reading them, I can hear cars crashing outside because they were falling asleep at the wheel, going, "Oh my gosh!" But you make it a lot of fun. I mean, Elliott, what's really fun is his Facebook site is Graphs and Laughs. I mean, his email is graphsandlaughs.com. I mean, Elliott@graphsandlaughs.com. This guy likes to have fun with it, and that's why he played that little snippet of the joke that he tells. Elliott, what made you decide to try to have fun with economy?
You know, economics is great. Economics is all around us. We shop for things, we buy things, so everything involving money is obviously economics. But economics is much more than that. Economics is the golf players. Economics is when you go out with your girlfriend and for the fourth night in a row, she says she wants to go Italian, what do? Do you say yes or no? If you say yes, you make her happy, but you make yourself unhappy. If you say no, you make yourself happy and her unhappy. And when she gets unhappy, you get unhappy. So maybe you better say yes. I mean, you have to think strategically and tactically about lots of things, and economics gives you tools to think about these things. It gives you tools to think about a whole lot of things together, and game theory, and this is really, really interesting stuff. And as you alluded to earlier in the segment before I was on here now, you talked about the increasing role of, it seems, government and politics in our life. And this is because the role of government's gotten bigger. Taxes are a bigger percentage of GDP, and government spending is a bigger percentage of GDP. Deficits have grown. Government involvement in more and more programs that we enjoy in our life: Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, food stamps, God knows, who knows what, unemployment, Social Security, and on and on and on. If you don't understand and follow what's going on, you're sort of a collateral damage when things happen if you don't pay attention.
No, that's a great point.
That's a good point. I'm glad you clarified on the economy side, because when you first started, I thought we were going to go to a
dating tips.
Dating tips, yeah. Which is really cool.
But there's data on that too. There's all kinds of data there too.
So you're all about data, as most economists are, but you have a lot of fun. I mean, you should see Elliott's his webpage. It is awesome because it's simple. You know, like we don't try to talk down. We just try to clarify what's important about the economy that affects you today, because a lot of it's minutia, just like Elliott says in his statements. But on his website, it's www.econ70.com. Elliott, you should be very proud, because that site's fun. It's simple, easy. Your blog posts are simple and easy, and it's very easy to follow and understand.
Right. Yeah, that's the point. I mean, economics can be boiled down to something relevant, interesting, and funny. And if you can do that, people will listen, and people will pay attention, and people will learn something. If you don't engage them and you don't make it interesting, it doesn't matter what you say. People will fall asleep, or they'll grab their BlackBerry or their iPhone or their Droid, and you're off and running, and you've lost them. You've got to focus them. You've got to pull them in, keep them interested, tell them a joke. This is not for just economics. It's for you ever hear a lawyer? These guys are horrible too.
Well, that's why we only have chosen one to be on the show, because he's actually pretty funny. We have our debt doctor that comes on, and he's actually pretty funny. But you're right, trying to find somebody that's funny, and as an economist or a lawyer, I mean, that's finding the needle in a haystack. So thank you for joining us, Elliott.
Hey, it's great. I mean, I'm trying to convince people economics is fun, one listener at a time. That's what it takes.
Well, we have at least
small
one.
Revolution here.
Well, I'm listening while you're speaking, so at least you've got a little bit of an audience.
And you're tens of thousands of listeners. I'm sure. We can get lots of folks. We can teach them that it matters, it's relevant, and it's interesting, and it can help change your life in a productive and helpful kind of way.
Well, thank you for joining. If you just joined us, we're talking with Elliott Eisenberg, a nationally known economist and just a really fun guy who's joined us here on AM 1220 KHTS on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show to share with you what is happening in the market today in a fun perspective. And we're going to touch a little bit more on a lot of course, we're going to have Elliott help us out with some of these factors that we've all been hearing about and are totally tired of, without a doubt. But Elliott's going to help us figure out where we're at with the fiscal cliff and what it really means to us. He's going to share with us some information that we need to know about the economy from an economist's point of view and add a little humor doing that. Am I right?
You bet. You got it. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, what I'm thinking is we're going to talk about a lot of the things that have happened, but I'm also really interested in what you project going forward. You mentioned the S word, Social Security. I'm really interested what your take is on that. Being overweight myself, I just think they keep feeding us gluten and sugar, and that way our long age span will keep going down, and eventually we'll fix it that way. We'll just kill us all off younger.
Well, they had some data just out recently from, I think the CDC came out with some data saying if you are mildly overweight, at BMIs between 25 and 30, I think, your lifespan actually is extended slightly. They're not quite sure why this is, and maybe there's an error with the BMI, but nonetheless, a little extra weight apparently helps you.
Well, thanks for that, Elliott. I just signed him up for the gym, man.
Well, I always bring out there's numerous articles on how good alcohol is for you, but my wife's not buying it.
For you, that is. For you. That's nice. But Social Security, getting back to Social Security is a problem. It's not one of our major problems. The health care is a much bigger issue. Medicare and Medicaid are much, much more important. But Social Security is important, and Social Security's got some problems. It's paying out more than it's bringing in, and the year 2039 or whatever it is, 2040, whatever it is, 2030, it's going to run out of money, and we'll have to lower our benefits substantially. But the solutions to this aren't all that hard. There are a couple solutions. One of them is to raise the Social Security age a little bit. And this is, not a wonderfully exciting idea. People don't want to work an extra year, obviously. The point is people who are now 65, people who are retiring now who are 65, have a pretty good chance of living 15, 16, 17 years. By contrast, back in 1935 or something, when FDR created the first Social Security and the first recipients got it, people who were then 65 had a life expectancy of maybe 10 or 11 years. So this extra length of time that we are living beyond 65 requires us to do something about it, especially given the fiscal problems that we've got. So one solution is to just raise the Social Security age a little bit.
Well, that
now,
makes
Democrats won't like that one, but that's what the Democrats have to give in this debate.
And I appreciate that as I get older, Elliott. It makes me have a little bit of hope. And thank you for sharing that. We're going to share a little bit more. We're about to go up on break, Elliott. We'll be right back with you. And we're going to share more. We're going to talk to Elliott about $1 trillion coin. How about that? I want one of those in my pocket. When we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show on your hometown station, AM 1220.